two-point perspective. So you start with a horizontal line, and then what that does is give you that line, that horizontal line of perspective. So the next thing I want you to do, if I can remember, it's been a year, I want you to start, and what we're going to do is get some technique in drawing a city landscape, a downtown city scene.
I remember this
Okay.
art.
So we're going to start with a point, and on this horizontal line, I want you to draw on either side of your paper 2 points, which are going to be our vanishing points. And hence, this is called two-point perspective. Okay, that's why we call it that. So what what you would draw in your picture, every horizontal line that would be considered horizontal in any shape that you draw vanishes to one side or the other. So what I've done is put a point here that's sort of the middle of my two-point perspective drawing, and anything to the right of that then would vanish to the right point. Anything to the left of that's going to vanish. Any horizontal thing to the left of that is going to vanish to the left side point of perspective. So what we want to do is start with all vertical lines now in your two-point perspective are exactly that. They're perpendicular to this horizontal vanishing line. So I'm just going to initiate a vertical line. Again, you're doing yours as we go. I'm starting there in the middle. And then everything to the right side of that line is going to vanish to the right vanishing point. So again, you're drawing very lightly. And I'm only going to draw a certain distance away.
I ended up making a gallery. It was called the Peanut Gallery. There was a bunch of peanuts in it with like little hats and everything.
Anything to the left of that is going to vanish to the left vanishing point.
It was supposed to be a penguin, but it turned into a peanut.
And what you've established is the bottom corner of a rectangular prism that we're going to make as a building in our downtown scene. And this is the corner of that perspective. So we have the bottom of our building. Then we're going to have the top of the building, which is the top of wherever you stop that vertical line. So again, that right side of that top of the building, you're going to draw, and it's going to vanish to the right side. The left side of that building is going to vanish to the left vanishing point. Again, drawing lightly. Drawing lightly. Bless you. And now, this building that's taking shape a little bit has a right and left side to it. And so, however wide or however far you want this to be, you want these lines to be vertical. Vertical is vertical. Horizontal is not. That's the distortion. Horizontal parts are not horizontal in your picture. Vertical parts are. So that's going to be the right-hand side of that particular building. I'm going to draw this left-hand side a little shorter. Again, I want it to be vertical, parallel with every other vertical line. So we're using geometric vocabulary, parallel, prism, lines, and we have a building now that's at the corner of our two-point perspective. Again, why you wanted to draw those lightly is because now I can erase that vertical line, that horizontal line, vanishing line, and then come back and now we've got that building. Okay. What shape is this? What shape is it?
It's rectangle.
Could you find the area, which is what we've been working on?
Yes.
Yeah. If you knew the two dimensions, you could find the area. What's the shape of this?
Rectangle.
What's the shape of the top?
Rectangle.
They're all rectangles, right? So you could calculate the surface area, right? So we're using vocabulary. Could you calculate the lateral area? What would that mean?
Everything but the bases.
Right. Because we're going to hire a painter to come paint some murals on our building, but we only want them to do it on the lateral faces. So would you be able to communicate that to that artist?
Yes.
What lateral is now? Don't you know that phrase? So we want to use the vocabulary that we learned. So there's your rectangular prism. There's your cereal box. Then in this picture, we're calling a building, right? Now, on this building, we could write J.C. Penney or the Ask Academy, right? But if that is parallel to this horizontal, where would the top of that sign go? Where would this,
Vertically.
since it's horizontal, if you're going to put the sign, you're going to have the top part, you're going to have the top part of the sign, and you're going to have a bottom part of the sign. Where would those lines go to? Where would they vanish to? How can you say it?
Right?
Yeah, any horizontal line, any. Windows. If you're going to put windows in your building, and they're all parallel with each other, they're all horizontal, they're the top part of that window, if it's on this part of the building, it's going to vanish to that point. You feeling me on this? So I'm going to simulate that by starting a sign. And I'm just going to draw lightly the top of the sign where I would want the line to be, and then I'm going to make it a pretty big sign, so I'm going to make the bottom. But again, that's the bottom of the sign. Are these lines parallel?
Yes.
I mean, in reality, yes. In your picture,
No.
where are they going to cross?
That like right this way.
Right at
Towards
the vanishing point,
right.
right? Is where they would cross. So they're not parallel in your picture, but in reality, are they parallel?
Yes.
That's how we're distorting it, right? So every letter in my sign starts at the top and goes at the bottom, and I'm just going to sketch it for time's sake. I'm not suggesting you do it that way. See how it gets smaller as it's going? Just like everything else. On the right side of this middle part of your 2-point perspective, everything on the right will vanish to that right vantage point. With me? So let's add a street and a sidewalk.
Oh, this should be fun.
So here's the corner of my downtown scene. So I'm going to make a width of the sidewalk there. And when I go to the right side of that, where's it going to vanish?
To the right.
Okay. My sidewalk's going to go the entire length of my scene. And now since I've established this building, I'm going to, well no, I'm not going to. Anything to the left is going to vanish. Again, I'm drawing lightly. I can come back and make it heavier as I decide I'm going to keep it. There's your other side of the sidewalk. You see it now taking shape? Okay? So this is where people walk out in front of the buildings. What's on this side of the sidewalk? Street, right? So again, you're going to come, every vertical is vertical. So I'm going to come down here some distance, and then to the right, where would it vanish?
Going to the right.
Why do you think I dashed that?
Yeah, that's the street.
Street, James taking driving lessons as we speak. So if that's the middle of the road, then I'm going to kind of go the same distance.
I give you my notebook. Guess what? I get my